So we are about acknowledging people in business who are motivating our community in order for us to grow, in order for us to actually utilize them in our business, in order to grow our businesses, in order to grow our professional development. And today, our woman in business is Talese Fernbach. At each event, our goal is to highlight a person in business and then donate a portion of the net proceeds to a nonprofit. Talese is a sports performance psychology consultant. She's a trainer and mental performance coach who helps people train their mind to expand their comfort zone, to identify and release their talents, and reach their full performance potential. And I can personally attest to the fact that Talese has coached my team at Square Millionaire, and they truly have gained knowledge and wisdom and perfected their ability to produce an organization that has upped the performance measurements in Square Millionaire.
Good morning, good morning. As Sherelle mentioned, I work in the field of mental performance, so I'm concerned with how your mental performance affects either enhancing or impeding your performance in life or at work. So in honor of today's event, How Great Women Lead from a Man's Perspective, while I'm not a man and I cannot give you a man's perspective, what I can do is I can share with you from my personal life and work experience how great women lead and get the job done from an empowered and healthy mindset. So in order to do that, I'm going to share with you two scenarios that I was put into where I had to lead and interact in a very male-dominated industry. The first, I was 23 years old. I was the lead negotiator for McDonnell Douglas on national and international multi-million-dollar contracts to purchase airline parts. Okay. I'm 23. I am sitting across from 30 to 60-year-old men. It was very, very rare that I had a female sitting next to me on my team. I would always travel with an engineer, a buyer, and an auditor. It was very rare that any of them were females, and it was very rare that I sat across from a female. So I constantly had to prove myself walking in those situations. We would negotiate with the French. I'll never forget this. We had an interpreter there to kind of help us with the negotiation. I walked in. Now remember, there's no Google, there's no LinkedIn. They can't look me up. They know nothing about me. And I walk in, and I'm telling you, it's like when you enter the nail salon and they start talking, you're like, I'm secure in my feet and my toes. I walked in and they just started, the French, their eyes got big and they just started talking in French, and the interpreter just started laughing. I can only imagine what they were saying. The second scenario is I am now 38 years old. I walk into an auditorium filled with 30 18 to 25-year-old D1 athletes. All their coach told them was, you are going to get a mental performance coach that's going to work with you individually and as a group. And she's good, but they had no idea what to expect. And I walked in, and the looks on their faces, 18 to 25-year-old, I mean, they're men. These guys these are big dudes I'm working with. And I walk in there, and some of them were like, they gave the eye roll, or, oh, right, this is going to be a joke. So again, I had to prove myself. I knew I was good, but I needed to make sure that they knew that I was good. So periodically and consistently, actually, I have been put into situations where I've had to interact in male-dominated areas. Being in those situations, I've had to learn how to adjust and adapt and learn some techniques and approaches where I'm feeling very empowered and confident in my interactions, right? I have to, or I would never survive in that industry. So when I went into all these situations, what I would like to do right now is actually share with you 3 of my favorite approaches that hopefully you can bring back to your workplace. The first one is observing. Whenever I walk into a situation, I'm going to observe. A fit mind does not walk into a situation and become consumed by it. I'm not going to let you guys consume me by the situation. And by consumption, what I mean is I'm not going to be consumed by judgment, expectations, excessive emotions. Those things don't matter to me. All I know is that I have a job and I need to get my job done. So that's what I mean by not being consumed. So a mentally fit mind going into an interaction does not become consumed, but it observes and it navigates the audience or the people that you're interacting or you're leading. The second one is acceptance. What I realized is that in order for all of you guys to accept and feel comfortable with me and my role and in the context, I first need to accept and be comfortable with myself and who I am in my interaction in the context with you. So that's incredibly important because my attitude, my perception, my mindset that I'm bringing to the table, I have to take some responsibility for the performance of everyone around me. So it's very, very important that I go in with my head on straight and know who I am in the context. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What is my philosophy? Okay? And then the last one is focus. Now this is the one that's really, really important. What I have found is that what works for me and empowers me and makes me perform better is if I walk in here, I don't see men and women. I see human beings. I see people. Because if I see you as human beings and people, everyone is inclusive, right? So I want to be inclusive with all of you. I want to collaborate with all of you. It's not a you and a me. It's a we. And so that mindset, remember the mindset is everything. So going into that situation, and it puts us more on equal playing fields, right? So it's very, very important what you focus on when you go into a situation. Another concept that's very, very important under focus is threat versus challenge. So I'm going to use this speaking engagement as an example, right? So I'm up here. If I'm walking up here, I'm like, oh my God, look at all these people. It's such a threat. I can't do this. If I walk up there, am I going to want to engage with you? I'm going to be back here, right? I'm going to be like, okay, how's it going? You're a threat to me. What physically and physiologically happens is I back off, my body closes off, my arms close off, and what ultimately closes off is my mind. And I cannot perform then, right? But if I look at it as a challenge, I'm going to go, oh God, what a great opportunity. This is awesome. I'm going to come up, I'm going to hug the podium, I'm going to want to jump over the podium and interact with every one of you and collaborate. So this is a challenge. My body opens up, my mind opens up, and I want to engage with you and I can perform to my optimum potential, right? Makes sense? But it's a simple concept, threat versus challenge, and that has to do with getting to know and understand yourself. One thing I know for sure is that if it's not fit and healthy up here, it's sure not going to become fit and healthy in your performance when you go out there. And yes, men and women are different. I know that. The brain, I've studied the brain for many, many years. The brain is physically different. We may approach things differently. We may communicate differently. But really, honestly, don't we all? We all kind of do that. You know, for every time I say, oh, a man does this, I have a friend or a female that I'm interacting or working with, and she does the same thing. So what I'd like to do is challenge each and every one of you, figure out what mindset you're bringing to your interactions, whether it's with a female or a male, or more simply, another human being. Thank you very much for your time.